Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Out in the Wild with AV Perkins. My name is AV Perkins. I'm here because, I made the announcement that I'm starting a podcast, and I made the announcement like 30 minutes ago. So I have to share with you guys why I even decided to do this, what to expect from Out in the Wild with AV Perkins, and a whole bunch of other stuff too. But I don't have a lot of time. So let's get down to the nitty gritty. All right. So if you are listening, which I hope you are, and tell a friend to listen to me, my phrase out in the wild, right? I say it a lot on Facebook, and more often than not, it kind of refers to dating, right? Or it refers to actually just having conversations with strangers. And many times, like I said, I'll people tell me the most random stories. Like I have a face that tells people to say, hey, you know what, girl, I don't know who you are, but I want to tell you my entire life story. So, after many years of experiencing those things, not saying I want to tell those people's life story, I want to share some stories from my life as well. Now, this podcast or live stream or whatever you want to call it is a story within itself. So I'm going to go into the who am I if you are just joining me and just like trying to figure out who is this person that's popping up on your timeline. My name is AV Perkins, and I always consider myself an accidental influencer. When I first started in the space of content creation, I started a blog. It's called AV Does What, because AV, me, does a lot. And it was a DIY blog. And that blog started because unfortunately my father passed away. Like that is like my origin story. My father passed away, and I needed a way to transmute that grief without having something so deliberate, like, oh my gosh, I'm mourning my dad, right? So I created this DIY blog because I do believe our lives are our greatest DIY project. And it was traditional DIY, crafts, cookies, recipes, all of that jazz. And it eventually picked up. And I didn't do it to be an influencer because influencing really was kind of like just starting out. I was, in my air quotes, just a blogger. But doing that led me to many opportunities that I did not anticipate. One being, I did not anticipate going into hosting and more on camera roles, because in my initial career, like out of college, I was in the film industry doing props and set decorating. So that is very much behind the scenes. And as I continue this live stream and, this becomes a series, I'll go into more stories from that career and that life that I've lived. So yeah, got the blog, started doing the blog, started picking up opportunities. I was on Flea Market Flip for HGTV, and then that led to a uh, a time with HGTV Handmade, which is their more approachable crafts platform, their online platform on YouTube, but it's more approachable versus knocking out the fourth wall and reimagining reimagining your living room. I think Handmade is really for renters and people who want to be able to do the craft that they see today, or without, taking out a small loan on their life insurance, right? So that is where those opportunities led. But there was some time that went on where I always said to myself, I never want to be pigeonholed. I never want to be in this space where I have to be the DIY girl or I have to be the hip hop girl. Because, those who know me know that I often do say, if Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg had a baby, it would be me. Yes, that is true. But Snoop Dogg is doing different things. Like, when's the last time Snoop really dropped an album? Exactly. Martha's doing different things. So if my fairy godparents don't have to be beholden to the genres of content that they have, certainly spearheaded, why should I? I should be able to do whatever it is I want. And that is the kind of the crux of AV Does What anyway. Now, that's kind of like my miniature background. And all of this is coming from the top of my head. I decided I'm not writing any, well, at least not for this episode. I didn't write anything because I was just over it, completely over it. I was like, I need to just start. And I was, what's the word I'm looking for? Being held back. And then anxiety grows. And then it's like, should I even do this? Do I want to do this? And it's like, F it. We're going live, literally. So a couple of months ago, I decided, I want to start a podcast. People always ask me, AV, do you have a podcast? You should have a podcast. You should come on my podcast. And I thought to myself, sometimes I turn down a lot of offers because I feel like more often than not, people want to bring me on their podcast so they can get like a hot take from me about dating. And then they go viral and rich off of off of my face and image, and I get nothing except ridicule on the internet and people saying I have a big forehead. Like, who wants to deal with that? I don't. So I said, you know what? If I'm going to get dragged and canceled, I'm going to get it on my own accord. Now, granted, do I want to get dragged and canceled? Absolutely not. I don't want that to happen to me. But I want to be able to control my own message, my own narrative. And yes, there are people who, chop and screw things. So you don't always get the opportunity to 100% control your message and narrative. But, I feel like you can get close to it if you try hard enough. And that's where we're at now with this. So, yeah, another reason why, I always say I feel like podcasters are enemies of the state. So why would I join the ranks of them? Right? Now, it is because I want to create without feeling like without feeling bogged down, Do I plan on monetizing this? Of course, everyone should monetize their crafts and the things that they do. Do I want to feel like this is a job? Absolutely not. Like that is not, this is like somewhere between passion project and I guess changing my life. Again, because I'm always changing my life. I'm always innovating. I'm always going forward. I'm always trying to do something else, something different to maximize what I have going on in my life. So I got this podcast mic. I said, I'm going to do this podcast. I don't know how long. I don't know the structure. I don't know the intervals of it. It's like, hey, I'm going to just do it like Nike. And it's completely low frills as possible because I am not one of those people who want to just like buy a bunch of stuff and then you can't keep up with it and then you feel bad and guilty that you purchased everything. So what ended up happening, an old professor of mine, I went to school for communication. Spoiler alert. I went to Central Connecticut State University and I did a talk with my professor, with her students, with my old professor's students about, achieving their dreams, entrepreneurship, all of those nice, beautiful things. Great. She sent me a Amazon gift card and I didn't use it for, I don't know. I guess I feel like I might have had the gift card for about a year. And then when I decided to do this podcast, I said, you know what? I'm going to use this gift card because whatever, YOLO. It's no direct cost to me. Let me use it for this purpose. And, it makes sense because communication, podcast mic, creating content. Yeah, the gift that keeps on giving. So I got the mic and I was sitting on it for a while, right? Like just, hey, I don't know if I'm going to use this mic. I don't know what I'm going to do. It's just here. And it's cute. It's a really cute mic. It's pink because that's my favorite color. And it's, it has like one of those stands that you could kind of attach to your table. So it's giving real professionalism. It's giving Wendy Williams, right? That's what it is. It's giving like kind of like radio. Okay. So I have the mic, haven't been using it at all, right? I'm asking Chat GPT to really hammer out episodes, right? Like I'm getting real professional with this. I'm a producer and I'm doing all of these things and I'm still not recording. I decide, all right, I'm going to record. I have GarageBand because I was like, once again, I'm not doing anything that's going to cost me money in this present time with this project. I download GarageBand because I deleted GarageBand from my Mac years ago because I always thought to myself, I'm not going to start a podcast. I don't have to record anything. I don't make music. Lo and behold, here I am. Joke's on me. I download GarageBand and I start recording, fairly recently. And I record essentially everything I'm telling you guys now, right? It's a little bit, it's a little bit more thought out because we're going to get to why I'm just doing this today, right now. So I recorded the episode and I started editing it. And I realized I hated editing on GarageBand. I'm used to editing video because of my skill set in, previous years. Um, and I'm used to, for those of you who edit video, and you can tell me in the comments, I like to not drag and drop, but you can drag your clips. And, if you're going in between two clips that are split, and you know how sometimes it just kind of like opens up, like you go in the middle and everything slides and it moves right there. Something as small as that, I could not do or figure out how to do in GarageBand. And I said, damn it is 2024. Why is this technology escaping you? And I'm sliding everything and I'm doing all of this because I'm like, I got to do this because I started it. I got this mic. And granted, I didn't make a big announcement that I'm starting this podcast, but I know I said it to myself. And I wanted to achieve the things that I said I was going to achieve. Right? Not to feel guilty or anything of that sort. Yeah, very much over it. Very much. I was trying to slide it and move it around. I did get through the episode, granted. So today, I said, I'm going to record another episode. I want to, get more in the rhythm and practice of this. And another thing that was outside of my comfort zone is that I'm recording, and with at least with the podcast in the traditional sense, I was recording and I was talking to no one. Just talking to myself is something that I'm not used to doing. Even when I'm doing and I'm hosting events, I'm speaking to someone else. I'm looking at people. Their energy helps give me energy. And just looking at myself right now wasn't helpful. And it wasn't helpful when I was actually recording the podcast in the traditional sense, because the plan was Spotify. And the trailer is still on Spotify if you look for it. It says Out in the Wild with A.V. Perkins, and you can find it, and it sounds nice. I did all the production and all of that stuff with it. Cool. I did the first episode that I did not export because I was so annoyed, but I did edit the episode. This morning, I said, like I said, I want to get in the rhythm of recording more. And I had a lot of things on my mind. And I think that can be another episode in itself, because now I have to do the first episode, which is the why, which is right now. And I was like, this is so damn annoying. Why is this annoying me so much? And I felt overwhelmed and I started to feel like anxious. And I said, I don't have to do this. I don't have to go through this frustration, especially since I have an audience already on Facebook and YouTube. Granted, I have not spoken to my YouTubers, my YouTube folks in quite some time, and my apologies about that. But it's sometimes video can be a lot, and I wanted a way to communicate and create without always having to be on, on physically, the whole thing, having your face done, all of that, lights, the production values. Sometimes that can be overwhelming. So I wanted something, once again, less frills. So everything had to go. Everything had to be streamlined. So here we are live, and that's how we're going to be doing this from now on. Because why? Why overwhelm myself? Why kind of get in waiting for perfection, waiting for something to happen, waiting, and then you don't end up doing the things that you want to do. Now, with that said, here are some things that we can expect and not necessarily expect from this series. Because can I still call it a podcast because I'm on YouTube? Yeah, because people do it all the time. But since I already have YouTube with a bunch of other videos on there, and you can check them out, so that's great. Check them out. Check out my DIYs. Those are evergreen. Let's talk about this part of the series. Things you can expect. self-development. You know, for those of you who are used to my tag line out in the wild from Facebook, like when I use it on Facebook, I want us to go outside, get in touch with nature, talk to people, build community, things that we are more alike than different. And if we spend time speaking to each other in real life, maybe we can find more common ground. We live in this day and age, in this time where it's very easy to be combative, to be argumentative, to be sassy and snappy and cruel to each other on social media, and me included. I've had my time over the years where I probably would have said things to people that may not have been the nicest things, and we can, not saying they didn't deserve it, but maybe it wasn't the nicest or the most of kindest of things. And how can we rise above that, you know? And I think social media keeps us in a loop where we're just stuck there. It's commonplace to show up with that energy combative, whether it's against people who are a different gender than you, a different race than you, different ages than you, because we're seeing a lot of generational divides. But we all got pain, Effie, right? We all got pain. So I think with this being out in the wild, I do want to encourage people to connect and create community in real life and offline. Yes, the irony is this is online. But as of now, I do not intend on this being a video podcast, because I would love for people to just listen and go about their day. Listen while it's in your pocket. Listen while you are going to the gym. Listen while you're walking at the beach. Listen while you are studying. Well, maybe not. Don't listen to me while you're studying. Put on lo-fi. That's better for you. Listen while you're just doing things. Do I have an intention on how long it's supposed to be? No. Sometimes I've been debating, do I want this to be really short, like 30 minutes or less? I mean, I'm really cruising on 15, but 30 minutes or less, where you're just like, hey, I'm going to get my fill of, some of AV's storytelling, maybe a little motivational situation, some humor, and then just go about your day. That's what I'm leaning more towards. But I'm stepping out of my comfort zone by even doing this, because like I mentioned earlier, doing that whole talking without seeing anyone is challenging for me, but I'm going to work through it. And when I used to do more videos, especially the DIYs, it was easier because I was looking at myself in the camera, and I have my mirror now looking at myself, but for some reason it's not the same. Still working through it. Now we have it being a live show. When people start to hear more about this, I will be able to interact with you guys in the comments. So that will help me. So that's kind of like, y'all help me for me to help y'all. That is kind of like how we're working on this together as a unit out in the wild. What are other things you can expect? I love events. I love live events. And I am good for manifesting and speaking life and encouraging us to speak life into our lives. I would like to have a vision board party. I cannot say that's for sure or for certain. This is only, well, I say only October, like the end of the year is not right now. So if it's like, if you want to do it, girl, you have to do it ASAP, but we'll figure it out if that's something I want to do. But just maybe like other meetups so we can actually participate in being outside and being out in the wild together, and doing those things. As a self-proclaimed hottie with hobbies, I am certain we can make that happen in the upcoming months, or however long I want to do this. But it's kind of like baby steps, girl. Let's just let's do this for a consistent amount of time, and then we can expand to other levels of it. What are some things you should not expect? Not too much pop culture, because I would like this to be as evergreen as possible. Yeah, there might be some references to certain parts of pop culture because that's just how I speak. But like hot topics, like, oh, did he do it? Y'all know he did it. So it's just like that. So that's kind of where I am with that when it comes to pop culture or certain talking points that are being like run into the ground. If I can see a talking point or a hot topic that is on the internet and we can expound from it from its surface level, then possibly. But other than that, probably not. I do want to focus more on self development and us just growing as people. I would love to know more what people are reading, what people are doing, what hobbies that they are interested in, what hobbies would they are they currently doing, like sharing that type of um engagement is something I'm more interested in. Like I'm in my Super Soul Sunday era right now. And it's Sunday. Haha. So yeah, I'm in my Super Soul Sunday era as of now. Will I do love a good kiki? Yes, of course. And I am gonna, talk about the mandem from time to time and the galndem and the picnic and just all of those things. And then for those of you who do not speak Jamaican patois, I talked about men, women, and children. I am a super aunt, so of course they will always be mentioned in my growth because they are a part of my growth and things I see objectively and like not objectively because I am an aunt and not a parent. So it's kind of like, all right, this is a different spin on it. This is a different take on the same or similar types of caretaking. So yeah, that is essentially what we have going on here at Out in the Wild with AV Perkins. And of course, I am always open to some suggestions. How often am I going to be recording this? I have no idea. I'm going to just be like all of the great YouTubers and say, listen, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can get notified every time I go live. Because hell if I know, I think the YouTubers got it, I think the YouTube space has finally got comfortable with the whole, hey, I'm just here so I don't get fined. Get it how you live. Please leave me alone. I may take a break. I may come back versus, other platforms have taken the realm, the helms. Is that what you say? Yeah. Taking the helms of, hey, you have to post every day, 15 times a day to really make something happen. No, YouTube, we're going to keep it cool. We're going to keep it chill. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say right now. Yeah, I did. I'm paying my debts to Content Creation Society. So please like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will see you all out in the wild. Peace out.